This is my informative speech, the second speech. Once again, this is my brother, his girlfriend, and a new person, my cousin. All right. This is my informative speech.
Action.
Hello, my name is Corey Charles, and this is my informative speech. I decided to do my informative speech on scaphoid bones. I decided to do scaphoid bones because I actually broke my scaphoid bone about a year ago. And it doesn't really feel that bad once you break it, but you actually would know if you broke your scaphoid bone. And I'm going to start. Like I said, scaphoid bone, this is speech 1311, and today's the day. First thing you know about the scaphoid bone is the scaphoid bone is actually a small bean-shaped bone that's located right in the wrist. If you actually come up, you can see my scar where I had surgery. It's kind of like an L-shaped scar right in the wrist, the center of the wrist. And the reason it's significant with the scaphoid bone is because the scaphoid bone is where the main vein comes down from the arm that gives the blood supply to the hand, and it also goes back into the rest of the body. And if your scaphoid bone is broken, it usually hinders blood supply. It lacks blood supply going to the hand back to the rest of the body, and which helps the body, it forces the bone to decay or hinders it from healing itself once it has a fracture. The purpose of scaphoid bone is, if you're in my eyes, since I had the injury, it's equivalent to an ACL injury or ACL in the knee. Just like the ACL helps the knee flex, bend, and helps with all this the movement and mobility in moving your legs and your body. The scaphoid bone does the same with the wrist. And everyone knows that you need your wrist for everything. You need it to flex forward, flex backwards. You need it for grip strength. You need it to pick up things, shaking hands. And if you have a significant injury, like a broken scaphoid bone in your wrist, it hinders you from doing a lot of jobs that you truly like to do. People like to lift things. People have jobs that lift things, they shake hands. And in my case, I broke my scaphoid bone in my right wrist, and I'm right-handed, so it really hurts me to do pretty much anything. It makes it discomfort, and it kind of aggravates you. It makes you not really want to do anything. Range of motion. If you look at this photo right here, you kind of get a little illustration of where a scaphoid bone is. It's a tiny bean shape. Just think of a little tiny Jack the Beanstalk bean. It's right in the middle of your wrist, and it goes along the inside. Next, you gotta, in order to know if you got a broken bone, get a better picture of where the bone is located. I got here's an illustration here, and there's a couple techniques you can do to find at least the general area where your scaphoid bone is located. One, you can do what doctors like to do is called the 4-finger point. So what you do, you hold out of your left or your right hand up, and you bend it down, and these 4 fingers are going to point right here to your scaphoid bone, and it's in the general area where your scaphoid bone is. Or you can just say, where I flex and I do all my motion, the scaphoid bone is generally located in that area, right up on the hand. Or some people like to do it from the other side. You can also, some folks like to use the coat pouch location. And I never did a coat, but a lot of people that did coat, if you do this, there's like a snuff pouch right here where people like to snuff and snort the cocaine. So next, moving along. There are 3 types of fractures that you generally have in the area when you have a fractured scaphoid bone. One of the most common types of scaphoid fractures is the waist fracture. And that's basically, you got the bean-shaped fracture. You have the bean-shaped bone, and it's just basically a fracture right across the midsection of the bone. And next, you have the steel pole fracture. And basically, it's like, picture a crown on a king's head. There's it cracks, it chips away at the top. That's basically what a steel pole fracture is. And the proximal pole fracture is basically the exact opposite of the steel pole fracture. There's a fracture generally at the bottom of the bone, located at the base of it. All of these fractures generally take time to heal. Usually, I'll get to that. I'm trying to get a little ahead of myself. And the reason for these fractures, the most common reason for these fractures is sports. And when I say about sports, a lot of physicians and doctors like to say a fall over an outstretched arm. When the athlete generally falls down or is forced down to the ground, they like to brace themselves with their hands. And when they do that, they press all that pressure of your body plus gravity plus the amount of force that's coming down on top of you on that single location, which is where the scaphoid bone is located. And the recovery expectation for a scaphoid bone injury is usually they tell you it takes, after surgery, it takes 3 months just to be able to come out of the cast. And you can be in a cast, you can be in two to three casts